Welcome to our podcast, episode 3. I'm Myunghyun.
And I'm Heiko. Welcome.
Today we were gonna talk about something casual. We had a deep talk last week. But before that, I want to ask, how was your week?
My week, um, uh, my week was quite quiet. What I did was I watched a movie called Perfect Days. Do you know
Mm.
that movie? It's a Japanese movie, independent movie, and it just shows a Japanese Ajussi. Japanese Ajussi toilet cleaner, and he's just enjoying his
Uh,
daily life, even
hmm
as a toilet cleaner, and
mm.
it just shows his hobbies, his routines every day, and it's just very calming, and shows you how you can. It shows that everyone can just enjoy the little things in life, and yeah, you should check it out. Yeah. Besides that, what else? On Thursday, I went to a bar with some friends. We had some beer, and it was that bar where you know that reel where Americans
Mm.
try the German beer. Do you
The one you sent me?
remember? Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what? German beer tastes good? That's that one. Yeah.
Mm.
And I really want to take you there. And the second
Mm.
time I went there, and every time I go there, I feel like this beer is very good. And it's particularly good because it's not really it's not super sparkly. So it's very
Mm.
easy to drink and has lots of flavor. And yeah, it was fun evening.
I am actually planning to travel someplace after quitting my job in March. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
considering Germany, but it's too expensive. The price is always the money is always the problem, you know?
It is. It is.
If I go to Portugal, it will be much cheaper.
How much is it in traveling to Portugal?
The flight ticket should be similar,
Mm.
but as you know, the food and the like accommodations are much cheaper in Portugal, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Portugal has the cheapest cost of living in Europe, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Mm.
not sure, but Portugal is very affordable, and personally, I love this country. I like the people. I like the food. The weather is so nice, and I think many Germans like Spain. It's the
Oh.
main travel destination. It's very well
Mm.
um, visited, but I think Portugal is kind of becoming a trending country to or destination for tourists.
Have you been there in
Yeah,
Portugal?
yeah, Portugal. We went to Lisbon, and we met Bernardo. He
Our
took us
friend.
around. Yeah, Bernardo, our friend from GEP master's program, and we also went to the south, to the Algarves,
Mm.
and this is where you can have some fun with the water, with the beach, and yeah, very sunny, and it's just very chill, and um, it's a great country. Yeah. How was your week? How was your week? Since you mentioned you want to quit your job and
It's not what I want, but it's a contract, so
mm,
I'm gonna work until 15th of March. So yeah, after that, I'll be free. I really want to go Germany, but whenever I see my bank account, if I get admission, then yeah, I think I can go there. But if I don't, which means I don't have any job and I don't have any like plan in the future, then I may have to visit the cheapest place, like I don't know, Mexico, Georgia. ChatGPT recommended me a Georgia.
Georgia. No idea about this country.
Mm.
Mexico is so far away. It shouldn't be cheap to fly there.
Yeah, but I can stop over many places.
Ah, I see. I see.
It can be cheaper. Yeah.
I
I have
see.
time, no job, no money, but I have time. Mm, okay, so yeah, that's our today's topic, the travel.
Yeah, it's our topic travel.
Can you share your experience your last trip in Asia?
Mm.
You visited like all of those three countries, China, Korea, and Japan.
Yeah.
And what did you do there? Can you share
Uh,
your experience?
yeah, it was a long trip. I tried to connect a few countries because I had things to do in China. I had to pick up my grandma and my wife and me. We planned to visit Japan for 2 weeks. Um, and then I thought, let's go a bit earlier and so I can visit also South Korea. So I visited you because I have no other contact or friend in Korea. So I've been in Korea a couple of times before, I think, and I have done all that kind of sightseeing that people would do usually when they visited Korea for the first time. So I asked you what we could do for that week, and we did some road trip to the south and called it kind of a let's call it a food tour.
And there was a martial law just before you left.
Yeah, before I left, there was some political unrest, I
Mm,
think it's called, and but it didn't hinder me to visit,
mm,
even though it sounded quite harsh because it was all over the news on
mm,
BBC,
mm.
German news broadcast. Um, yeah, it didn't, yeah, frighten me. So I was on the plane, so what could I do? What could I
Right,
do?
right.
And yeah,
So I texted you, right? I texted you not to come.
yeah. I think I was even on the plane when I received that message, because I had a little bit of Wi-Fi. Um, and I think I said something like it's a bit too late because I'm already on the plane and um yeah, it was at that time, at that moment, I wasn't even sure how severe it was, because I wasn't aware of the Korean political history. So I thought, okay, the president called out the martial law, but I literally had no idea what this was. So I had to do some research and figure it out. Um, but still, it this was the reason why, or you had the idea to visit the kind of Korean border, North Korean border,
Mm,
sorry,
mm.
to visit the newly opened Starbucks where you can see the North Korean border. Yeah, what is the called space place called?
Egibong, Egibong
Daegibong,
Starbucks.
yeah, Daegibong, and it was located next to. Is it a cultural park or is it just a forest?
It's like a eco park, I think.
Yeah, eco park.
Yeah.
Yeah, people go hiking for a little trip, and I just landed, and then we drove there together, and it was quite. For me, it was quite absurd because you were telling me about the martial law and the political unrest, and still we go as close to the North Korean border as possible.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and I was still a bit jet lagged, so it was a bit unreal for me. Um, but it was cool. We had a coffee, had some chat, and we saw we saw the North Korean border um, through some through a lens. and there was also a camera station there. At first, we couldn't see anything moving, um, and then 1 second later, we saw someone just casually. I think he was on the bike, and then after a few minutes, we saw a group of people. They seemed like farmers, just walking on like on a like marching almost, and that was quite fascinating. there were no there were no special like armies or other interesting people, but just normal farmers, and it was very exciting to us. What do you think? Was it was it fun
That
for you?
was, yeah, that Starbucks was opened very recently. So I heard that it's pretty difficult to visit during the weekend because it's too crowded. And we were very lucky at that time. It was almost the closing time, and we entered a Starbucks luckily. And I was surprised that it is much closer than I expected to North
Oh,
Korea.
really? I think I couldn't tell because I it's my first time going to near the border of North Korea. Um Actually I haven't even been to DMZ.
Mm,
So it's still this one is still missing. Um but there was just only a river in between, I think. And it was
right.
and you I think you told me it was quite shallow, wasn't it? The
I'm not
waters,
sure.
no? It
Maybe
looked
it
like
looks
very
shallow.
shallow. It looked like very
Yeah, yeah,
shallow.
yeah.
Um, and okay, yeah. It wasn't that far away. But still there was I actually imagined how people could actually,
Mm.
cross the border. It would be tough, but not impossible.
I didn't expect I could see North Koreans from there. I
Oh, okay.
visited several like borders and how to say observatories,
Mm-hmm.
but never. It's my first time seeing those people for real. Yeah, it was really, really close.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it felt really unreal because what you hear on the news is that North Korea and Kim Jong-un and all the soldiers, and then suddenly you see some North Koreans. Of course, they were probably farmers, but it was still very special and exciting, I think.
And I feel a little bit uncomfortable because I felt like they are like animals in the zoo.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't you think
I,
so? Yeah.
I think so. I think we also talked about whether they know that we would observe them or there was a touristic attraction. But it's like that, yeah, I think so. They should feel like animals. Yeah. If they're aware of it, they definitely feel like, oh, we we are uh, we get observed by tourists, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think. What else can I say? Um, yeah, and then I think the first evening we just stayed in Seoul and had some dinner. I'm looking through the photos and just to see what we ate because we ate so much. And
Right.
the first evening we had some hangover soup, was it?
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. What did we have? Remember.
I think that is the I think that's the hangover soup with the bones.
Bones.
Uh,
Ah, okay. I see, I see. Yeah, 뼈해장국. We had that 뼈해장국. Yeah, hangover soup.
yeah, so good. And what did we do afterwards? Just walk around and still have a photo here. We had
Ah, we had that jajangmyeon,
yes,
remember?
exactly.
Yeah.
Was 2 or 3 euros.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, also very good. Um,
5,001. Like, wow, that place is
but you also like the noodles, right? Not only the price of it, or it's a
right,
combination.
right. It's all good. Oh, yeah, tastes good, price is good, and the
Yeah.
vibe is good.
Yeah. I told you I like those vibes where it's uh a little rundown shop and
Mhm.
private owners work there and serve themselves and that kind of vibe. Yeah, not very fancy, but kind of homey and um, like if your grandparents would cook for you, something like this.
Right, right. That vibe. Grandparents' home food.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah. And then we moved to the south, right? To Busan.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure about the cities we would visited, but I think we you realize that I was never in Busan.
Right, right.
So you initially you didn't plan to go to Busan because you thought I was there already and
Mm,
we had planned to visit other smaller cities on the way. Um, but then we ended up staying in Busan for um, almost the entire trip. I think 3 nights or
right.
two, and I got to visit Busan. Yeah, it was. I knew that Busan had a beach and was had the sea, um, but I never imagined to be feeling very homey. I felt like
Mm,
home because I really like the sea, really like the sea, and it
mm,
was the city was quite compact, in my
mm,
opinion. It's not as big as other cities, but still it had anything you needed, like the city itself and the beach, and yeah, I really like that place. What do you think?
yeah, I also like Busan a lot and their food, the beach, and also we had that like seashells.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah, and, and we've been to some like that rundown restaurant. Lots of
Which
those kind of restaurant.
which one? We've been to many
Uh,
rundown restaurants.
yeah, I don't want to share it with other people. It's my secret place. But
That's
yeah,
the
there
one
were play.
the one that the taxi driver ex recommended you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That one, yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
better not to share it. But I have some photos in front of me. Yeah, famous Train to Busan actors were there.
Ah,
I guess.
and then we also visited the. Do you remember the ocean park in Busan? The last day we visited the ocean park.
Ocean Park.
Yeah, rock, rocky ocean park. Lots of rocks, and
Mm,
we took a we took a like a bus, shuttle bus,
yeah.
and we sat down at the cafe there, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Oh, it was the day we left Busan.
yeah, right,
It
right.
was your second time visiting that
Mm.
place, and
Mm.
yeah, I love that place. There was a shuttle bus taking us to like higher, and
Right.
there was a huge view on the sea, and
Mm.
it was almost frightening actually. It was that high,
Yeah,
and
yeah, right.
the sea was that wide, and but we were super lucky because the weather was so good.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. It was no end of November and still it was chilly, but the sun made it, yeah, very comfy actually. Yeah.
And then we moved to the the other cities, the cafe. The the
Was it
owner is
in,
from
was it
Lyon.
in, yeah, the owner, I think she was a graduate from Hobakus
Hobakins.
Institute, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was specializing in pastries, and
Mm-hmm.
she opened a coffee shop in, where was it? What was the city? Was it
It
Goche?
is a koje, right? Yeah.
Goche, yeah,
Koje.
yeah.
It's it's called Wedo. Wedo is the name of the island in front of that cafe, and the cafe name is Nursery. Wedo Nursery.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be like this because in my opinion the town was a bit um, rural. It's quite,
Right.
it looks like there's nothing much going on. But the coffee shop was I think it was one
Awesome.
of my favorite coffee shops ever
Mm.
because um it's like a botanical garden.
Right, right,
I
right.
think, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it's like a franchise. The owner has two cafe. One is in the island. That is a botanical garden, like a very famous one. And on the mainland, they have this nursery, the cafe nursery, and they have like I read some information about the cafe, and it said they made kind of small botanical garden there.
A
Yeah.
small version of
So,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, right, small version of it.
yeah. It definitely felt like it, and it's, yeah, it reminded me of a kind of a greenhouse, and there
Mhm.
were many plants, and the interior was very well designed. It was woody, and there was a lot of light going through the windows, and it was quite high. Yeah, the ceiling was quite high. Um, and this is everything what you expect a coffee shop to be in like the big cities. And
Mm.
we had a coffee and had some cakes from, of course, we had some cakes from the pastry chef, and they were all like French level. That
Right.
kind of French quality, I really liked it a lot.
I really wanted to take you there because that place
It was your first time or second
is
time?
second time.
Second time, yeah. I really had no expectations. I thought it like,
Really?
in my mind, it's maybe very small coffee shop having some delicate pastries, maybe a coffee shop with 5 tables. That's what I imagined.
Mhm.
But it was a whole different level.
Yeah, that place. I really love that place. But it's too far. It's very difficult to get there. But when you get there, you will love the place.
I want to go there again. I want to go there again. Let's make
Come.
another road trip and visit that place again. I really
Yeah.
like the atmosphere. Yeah,
Mm.
because the time was a little bit limited. The sun was already almost down, and you also planned to have dinner at a seafood place, I think. I'm not sure if you planned it, but um, you remember the place where um, we drove with the taxi. We drove the taxi to that
Mm.
place, and um, there was only one menu. It's like omakase,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
And
Yeah.
the owner just put all kinds of food on the table. It was, I think, more than 20 dishes.
Right. It
Remember?
was. I asked some friends from those areas, and they all know that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
called the Tachijip. Yeah.
now now everyone knows. Not a secret place anymore. No, but um, their food stuck in my head, and yeah, it was also amazing.
They basically served every food that I want you to taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just provide all the food that I want you to try in Korea. And
Wow.
yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
I My friends told me that place was actually we paid for the food this time in that restaurant,
Okay.
but actually before the COVID, they didn't charge for any food.
Mm.
We only pay for the alcohol, and they just serve those food as a complimentary.
Oh. Oh,
But
that's
now,
that's amazing. Yeah. But now they're
but now
focusing on the food, right?
because not many people drinking, that young people just don't drink that much like
Wow.
elders.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To be honest, that evening, not many people were visiting. It could be that we were there on a weekday, but yeah, not many people. We were the last ones to leave,
Mm-mm-mm.
and yeah, the dishes just incredible. All I mean, a lot of seafood, uh, great taste. The spice, yeah, it's just a great yeah, it's a great place to have a drink, and we did.
Right, right.
As young Ajussis, we did of course drink.
And then actually we just stayed one night there and then moved to and visited one temple. Do you remember?
Yeah,
We drove to the top and walk a bit,
yeah,
and there was a cliff. We could see the National Ocean Park.
yeah. I was quite quite amazed how your car made it up that way because it was super steep. And I thought if you would stop, you could never go again because it was
Mm,
very steep on the mountains, and there was Buddhist temple. Yeah,
Buddhist temple.
there was a Buddhist temple, and had great views, and felt mm, very spiritual. There was a second
Because
Buddhist temple we we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
visited. The first Buddhist temple was
Busan.
near the waters, near the sea.
Yeah, it was in Busan, the first temple.
Yeah, yeah,
It was very close to our hotel.
yeah. Right. That one I also liked a lot, even though I'm not spiritual or anything. But it was also your second time
Right.
that place. Okay. There was a little bit of hiking involved, and it was quite high, and you got a bit scared.
Right, right.
Yeah. But I think something like this, I was always thinking of my mom because she's a she's more spiritual, and I think she definitely loved that kind of places.
You can come here with her. You
Traveling
can
with
bring your mom.
parents is a bit different. We just went with the flow.
And then actually we canceled all the trip and then joined the demonstration.
Yeah. Though we planned something else, but yeah, we canceled one city, I think, and then
Right.
we we drove back one night earlier to visit the demonstration against the president, pro president impeachment. I think it was worth it because I've never been to demonstration in Korea. I I also never go to demonstrations in Germany, but I think that time the demonstration against the president the will to impeach him, it was very a worldwide thing. So I think we had to go there for the history's sake.
Right. It's also my first time
Yeah,
joining those
yeah, But
demonstrations.
I was amazed because the demonstrations didn't feel like demonstrations. It felt like a rave party. It felt
Compared
like
to Germany, right?
a rave party. It felt like some K-pop groups coming and performing. Of course, there were some speeches and these kind of elements that you find in any demonstration. But in my opinion, the demonstration had a lot of party vibes going on,
Um,
and it was very peaceful actually. Yeah, I think with that music, it felt like very peaceful, but still people try to voice their opinions against the president. Um, we just walked a little bit with the crowd.
I think Koreans are proud of those peaceful demonstrations.
Mm.
We show our opinions clearly, but without violence.
Let me ask you, because when I think of demonstrations, I often see them also here in Germany, especially now, because in 1 week actually there will be national vote, national vote,
Mm.
um, and there's always like demonstrations against far right or I don't know Nazis and that kind of demonstrations. And there's also the ones who are voting for those right-wing parties, and they're oftentimes they clash together.
Mm.
So what I want to ask in Korea, is there a crowd that is for the impeached president?
Yeah,
Are they groups clashing together, or is it always like one opinion at a time?
it is mostly very peaceful.
Okay,
No clash. And
even though two groups clash together with different opinions.
but there are no like a physical like fight between
Ah,
them.
of
Yeah,
course.
they just shout to each other, I think. And people who disagree with those impeachments are actually get paid, I think. That's my, yeah, I guess it's very, yeah, yeah, it's very, I think it's a dangerous to say that online with my face revealed. I think most of them get paid, and those people are highly related to the church in South Korea because church and those dictatorship has some connections. Not all the churches, but some churches. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you told me that the church has a special standing in Korean society.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's they're
Right.
quite there's even documentaries on Netflix about
Mm,
the church, right? Or the churches, I don't know. Um, if it's
yeah.
one group.
That Korean churches are the center of the Korean immigrants, actually. So there should be Koreans abroad gathered based on churches. So if you see the Koreans in Germany, many of them goes to church.
Mm.
Yeah. So they are like a community center. They get married there, they find partners, they find friends, they share food, they share beliefs. Like, mm,
Sounds normal. It's a normal thing. It doesn't sound like a bad thing.
yeah, but the bad thing of Korean cultures are all revealed in the church there. It's like they shared those bad habits, I think. I don't want to criticize them.
It's getting to a
I,
sensitive point.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your opinion is, I think, even rooted in the thing that you even don't want to date girls from that have a religious background.
Yeah, especially a church.
Yeah, I mean, that's your opinion. I think you're not the only one having this view. It's something I cannot imagine.
Lots
Oh
of
my,
people. shares this opinion. I think I
Mm.
have same opinion. I think Korea has problem because of those hierarchy and also authoritarianism, and actually it can combine very easily with religion. Yeah, let's get back to our topic.
Right.
Yeah, and then you moved to Japan, right? How
Um,
was it?
mm, we we planned a trip to Japan for 2 weeks. The first day we visited, or my wife and me, we visited Disneyland.
In Tokyo.
Disneyland in Tokyo.
Oh.
And then the second day we also went to the park next to Disneyland. It's Disney Sea, still Disney. And yeah, we stayed there, and it was so fun because the hotels are highly sought after. So it's so hard to book Japanese hotels in theme parks because the user experience is super bad, and you don't know what packages should I book, and the pricing is different every day.
Oh.
Anyways, it's just a struggle that I think everyone has who wants to visit Disneyland, um, especially the hotels. We stayed at a Toy Story hotel. Do you know Toy
Oh.
Story, or do you like Toy Story?
I know Toy Story, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Ah, okay.
I watched all the series, but yeah, I'm not a
Oh,
big fan
you,
of it.
yeah. And I think Disney Tokyo is very popular because they have
Mm-hmm.
lots of details, and the staff is very nice, and very child friendly, family friendly. And my wife got a sticker for birthday sticker,
Oh,
and
wow.
that is usually a sign for the staff to always
Mm-mm.
congratulate. And this is something I think that's it's very nice and beautiful. Um, I mean, we are in our 30s, but still we enjoy Disneyland. She definitely likes it more, but for me, when I visit Disneyland or watch Disney movies, it's a way to forget everything. It just takes you somewhere else.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah. It's that kind of
Remote place, right?
yes, it's that kind of magic, I think.
Mm.
And yeah, in Disneyland, in Disney Sea, just amazing. The details, the atmosphere, and it was so cold because the Disneyland is just located next to the sea,
Mm-mm.
and it was super windy. I think it was maybe 5 degrees Celsius. And what we noticed is that there were many school girls that had a skirt and bare legs.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
that cold temperature.
At that cold temperature, and it, they just wore a skirt with bare legs, maybe a down jacket, but that's it. And we had like 4 layers, and we're still freezing. And
Maybe they're from Hokkaido.
maybe, or maybe they're just, I don't know. It's just crazy, and maybe we're just too old. But it was really cold, and they're just walking there in with bare legs, skirts, and had those hot packs
Mm-mm.
to maybe to warm their hands. But yeah, we were asking ourselves what they're doing, probably for photos or something, or looking cute, trying to look cute. Yeah. So the first days we were in Tokyo, and went to, I think, one of the more fun stuff where we visited Shibuya Sky. Do you know Shibuya Sky?
Mm. Yeah, I heard of it.
But you haven't been there?
No.
Or it's so cool. It's you just go up with the elevator to the, I don't know which floor, but you had a wide view of Tokyo. And that that day we were so lucky because the sky was so clear and the sun was shining and you could see Mount Fuji. And I highly
Oh,
recommend to go to Shibuya Sky, even though you were a bit scared of heights.
yeah. That's the biggest barrier. How do you
Yeah.
compare those Seoul and Tokyo? Would you like compare those two cities, Seoul and Tokyo?
Mm, oh, this is hard. Um, I feel like Seoul is it's hard for me to compare those actually. Um, just the impressions I have is in Seoul, it's more busy, I feel like.
Mm.
It's a bit more busy. Maybe it's the areas where I was are more have high buildings and lots of traffic. And Tokyo is a huge city, but I feel like there are alleys where it's quite calm, not too
Mm.
much traffic. I think also because Japanese cars are very quiet.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, not sure.
Mm.
Um, but personally, I think I like the vibes of Tokyo a bit more,
Mm.
to
Mm.
be honest.
It has some like a specific retro vibe, right? Tokyo has some.
Yes, Tokyo is has a retro vibe because I think for in terms of Asian, or let's compare Korea and Japan. I think Japan is maybe not as modern as South Korea because Japanese still like to pay with cash, and a lot of things they still rely on older technology,
Mhm.
like the metro tickets, still on yeah paper tickets, and in Korea it's just more advanced, I think, or they're more open to use newer technologies. So I would say Japan probably aged well. It's I would compare it to European cities that have been there for a long time, and they just rely on older um, technologies or have older ways of doing conduct business. Yeah, but it's a bit unfair. I think the Korea Seoul in end of November was super gray, uh, not nice weather. Um, but Tokyo was very they had a lot of sunshine. Mm.
Mm.
Are you mad?
No, no. I also love to visit Japan, and traveling Japan never disappoint people, I think. I
Yeah.
have to say, yeah, many Koreans won't like it, but Japan is the best country in East Asia for travel, I think, for traveling
Mm.
to the Europeans or like Americans, like
Mm.
anyway,
Why do you
non
think?
because in general, the quality of the food and the service
Mm.
are high on average. But in Korea, some places are good, some places are not very satisfying at times. They have a still have a gap. And I think they have how to say uh more well organized tourist spots. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not only the Disneyland, but the like temples and like the natures. They have more natures for sure because they have a bigger territory.
Mm.
And I think people are more kind. Yeah. Can I say that?
um, I don't know. It's I think Koreans and Japanese are both very kind people, and I in both countries I feel very calm, and I just enjoy just walking around. Maybe it's not a fair comparison because when I was in Korea, you took me around. And
Oh.
we last time we didn't even take the metro once,
Mm.
the subway. We didn't take the subway once. And we only stayed in Seoul in we stayed in Gangnam. And I think
Mm.
Gangnam is maybe the impression that I have right now. Uh, I think Gangnam is a very busy district, I think. Many high towers, big shopping malls. The streets are very wide. Um, that's maybe the impressions I have. And we didn't do a lot outside, so maybe it's not a fair comparison. But in Tokyo, we walked a lot, and
Mm.
not only not because the metro was bad, but it was just very interesting to walk around and see what is behind, what is in this alley, um, what is next to this coffee shop. Um, and it's very, for a big city like this, there weren't many people around. It was so quiet, you would think, okay, this is Tokyo. And that's why my impressions of Tokyo is maybe a bit more positive. Yeah.
I have to say that Korea has a potential. I have to say for my safety. And I believe that there are many places that like tourists gonna love, but it's not developed yet because now I think the government only focuses on how to say showing off like Gangnam style or like K-pop things, plastic surgeries, and some famous tourist spots like historical spots. We focus
Mm,
on historical places like the palace or the temple, but there are lots of beautiful places in South Korea, like the cities that I took you.
mm.
So southern part of Korea, those areas are actually not popular to like foreign tourists. And I think those area has some like huge potentials as a
Mm.
tourist places.
But uh, I think it's the same problem or the same focus of every country. Because
Mm.
in Japan you only have, as for tourists, you have of course Tokyo, you have maybe Hokkaido as a kind of province. Then you have this Kansai area of Osaka, Kyoto, Kobe, that area. And then you have, what is that island called? Okinawa.
Okinawa, yeah.
Yeah, that, that's the cities I'm aware of, and maybe there are some smaller cities. Fukuoka, I think.
Fukuoka, yeah.
Yeah, you said you like that city, and I think there's many towns or smaller villages that have a lot of potential, um, but they're not as interesting for tourists. I think this for
Mm.
every country. For Korea, I think we have great marketing already for tourism.
Right,
Personally,
right.
I think there's no reason to believe Korea has is running behind, because Korea is I think one of the top destinations for young people, I
Right.
think. Yeah, because of K-pop and that kind of stuff. And the food,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe you have a different impression, or I have a different impression. It's your home country.
Yeah. Yeah, Korea has a potential, as I said, but has a long way to go as a tourist place. Should be more gentle and kind. People should be more gentle and kind and honest. By the way, what did you do after Tokyo? Where did you go?
After Tokyo, we went to a town called Yamagata. Yeah, it's in the middle of it's the middle of Japan. It's near Fukushima,
Mm.
like inside the country. It's basically between Tokyo and Sapporo. Yeah, it's a not well known town, and they have a lot of agriculture and agriculture produce, and they also have mountains where you can go skiing. Yeah, it's basically a town where they have a lot to offer in any season. And we went there to stay at a onsen hotel or ryokan. We stayed there for 3 days, and went up to the mountain. There were so-called snow monsters. The snow monsters are basically the snow and on the trees. After some period, they form kind of creatures. They look like monsters at some time. And the peak season is January or February. And there's so much snow on those trees. And they form kind of like a figure that looks like a snow monster. And they have kind of, it's called Zao snow monster, ZAO monsters. That's quite popular. Yeah. And we went there for the onsen, had some relaxing days after Tokyo. And yeah, I recommend that place because it's quite calm. You can just relax or go skiing if you want. And after that, we went to Sapporo. Yeah, Sapporo, very snowy. And we had a lot of shopping actually to do. We had a lot of shopping to do because we wanted to buy, we thought we buy it in Sapporo because the shops are the same and we don't have to carry all that kind of luggage. Yeah. And
Where
I
did you
think
go for shopping?
you can probably call it Uniqlo, Muji,
Um,
that kind of places.
Don Quixote. Don
I
Quixote.
I I went to
Mm.
Don
Donkey,
Quixote.
donkey, yeah.
I went
Okay.
there, and I think I'm not sure if it's typical for Donkey to open 24 hours, but I went there at 10 p.m. because my wife was already tired and just went to bed. And I said, "Oh, it's my last evening. Let I go to Donkey." It's the biggest mistake ever. I had to I had to purchase a few stuffs that I planned to purchase. And I went inside at 10 p.m. thinking maybe it's not as crowded, but turns out it's the most busy time because all other shops they are closed at 9 or 8 or 9 p.m. and Donkey had opening times were 24 hours and I went inside, it was so crowded. And everyone had, since it's so cold, everyone had their jackets on, like the big um
Fluffy.
fluffy jackets, and me too. um but inside it was so hot, so I couldn't take off my jacket because it was so bothersome to just carry your stuffs and your
Is
jacket,
it
and
that crowded?
that crowded. It has 6, 7, 8 floors, I think. And you can imagine if you want to see young people, they're all young people, no old people like me.
Half of them should be Korean, I think.
Couldn't tell. Maybe a great mix of Koreans and Chinese, obviously. And it was a fight inside because there are different floors and different products. And I didn't want to miss out on products, maybe fun products that I haven't planned to buy. And I just went from level to level to level. And there's so crazy stuffs. You would think they really sell it. Like they sell secondhand Louis Vuitton bags. They're
What?
just they're
Really?
just yeah, Louis Vuitton. They're just thrown there. You can just buy used Louis Vuitton bags and Canada Goose jackets hanging in a hanging there.
Wow.
Yeah. And all kinds of designer stuffs like handbags. And yeah, it's a crazy place. And you can next besides that, you can also of course buy drugstore articles like
Mm.
toothbrush or toothpaste, some face cream, sunscreen. Yeah. And yeah, I think I spent 2 hours inside.
Because you
Yeah.
couldn't escape.
Partly I couldn't escape. The only way to go is up. So I checked out every floor. And then when I had everything I needed, I tried to go to check out. And how they have organized it, if you want tax-free shopping, you have to go to the floor, to the upper floor.
Mm.
And the queue was, I would think or estimate it would be 2 hours to queue up to check out.
Crazy.
And then I was calculate. At first, I just queued up. I think, okay, how much is my total in this basket? It's maybe 100 euro or 80 euro. And I think, okay, I'm queuing up for 2 hours and getting a tax refund of maybe 8 euros. So
Yeah.
I just said, oh fuck it. I just check out the normal counters, no tax free. So I did that and still had to queue up in like 20 minutes. So it was super busy. Yeah. When I got out, I
Unbelievable.
think I was so exhausted, like never before on this trip. And yeah, that was the last evening. And then we we head to China. Yeah. But
Mm.
Sapporo itself, I think um it's not as exciting as Tokyo maybe, but it's a
Mm.
good base to travel to other smaller
Mm.
attractions around. Do you know the Buddha of there's a Buddha statue and there's some architecture designed by Tado Ando.
I know
Do you
the
know? Do you know
architects,
that?
but
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
know
know
the.
the site near Sapporo. There was a nice one. It's just a big Buddha statue, and the Buddha statue was there before, but Tado Ando had kind of built something around that statue to bring in the anticipation of seeing that big Buddha statue.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. You should check it out later. It's quite nice. And then
I
we
may have
also
been there. I just don't remember.
okay, okay, yeah. And then we also went to aquarium,
Mm.
an aquarium in the city, and it was inside a shopping mall, and they had some very interesting ocean creatures. We spent there, I think, 2 hours watching kind of fish and turtles and that kind of animals, and we liked it a lot. And then we went to the real one, the real aquarium. It was just an exhibition. Um,
Mm.
to the real aquarium, it was, I think, we had to take the train 1 hour or two, yeah,
Oh.
to see the aquarium.
Mm.
That was also quite a nice experience.
Sapporo is actually one of my favorite cities.
Hmm. For me personally, for me too, yeah. It's not as big as as big as Osaka or Tokyo, but I think I like the yeah, it's just a vibe. I can always
Mm.
call it vibe, but it's hard to explain why, but it's just nice there. Yeah, I ate a snow crab like this. It's what like this big in
Mm. Mm. Mm.
a market.
Do you remember any food from Japan?
Yeah,
Ramen?
ramen. We ate ramen. Uh, Even though we planned to eat more ramen, we ended up maybe eating once or twice. One night we wanted to queue up for a Michelin star ramen, whatever. And the queue was just too long. And I think I'm too old for this shit. I'm too old for this shit only because it's called like Michelin ramen. I don't queue up for 2 hours
Um,
in that cold weather. So we just checked out, went around the corner. And there was just a very basic ramen shop. They
mm,
it felt like very hip hoppy. Yeah, the owners were like very street gangsters. I don't know. Yeah, and we ate tonkatsu.
mm.
Yeah, twice actually.
We also
Tonkatsu.
had it once in Korea, do you remember?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
the
but
kimbap heaven.
Japanese tonkatsu is better. Keep up heaven. And then snow crabs. A lot of snow crab. It was, yeah, lots of protein, but very delicious. I paid 170 euro for that whole crab. Yeah,
There's a lot.
I had no idea, but um, when you see it a lot on Reels or on YouTube, it just said, okay, I'm not spending so much on maybe shopping, just spend a lot
Mm.
of on food. Yeah.
That's a good idea, I
I
think.
would never buy it again though. It's just too much. You just need one or two legs is enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else? Just sashimi.
You?
Sashimi is
Oh,
amazing. Make you hungry?
now I really want to go Japan. Maybe I go next week.
For you, it's so convenient. I think you just book a ticket, 2 hours flight, maybe 150 euro
100
return
euro.
flight.
Is it enough?
Ah, it's like for me going to France.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's so convenient. Just take a train. Well, speaking of food, um, I think one dish or dessert I really liked was matcha parfait.
Matcha parfait.
Yeah, do you know parfait? Uh,
Yeah?
yeah, we ate that in the. It's a chain. It's a matcha house, I think. It's called Matcha House, and they had that parfait, and I think that was my favorite dish in Japan. It's again
Is it?
a sweet dish, even though I'm not a sweet guy. Um,
But your
uh,
favorite food in Korea was waffle.
yeah,
That is perfect.
yeah. I could go to Japan every year, actually.
Will you
Uh,
visit this year?
not planned yet, but probably.
Actually, and then you went to China and then
Yes.
you visited Hong Kong, right?
Yeah. So after, I think in total it was 3 weeks almost, or more than 3 weeks, three and a half. Went to my parents-in-law, and of course with my wife, and then I got sick for 1 week. For one whole week, I was very sick. So I was staying in bed. So because maybe my body shutting down of all this travel. Yeah, and then after China, no, after visiting my parents-in-law, I went to my grandmother's house, uh, to this town, and I planned to go to Shenzhen for a few days because I had nothing to do in my grandmother's town because I've been there so many times. There's not much to do. But went to Shenzhen for a few days, and for me the city was amazing because I saw a lot of tech stuff like that you can order drinks or pizza from a drone. There's a station. You've also seen it. There's a station, like a bigger box where you can order foods, drinks by drone delivery.
It's a flying drone, right?
Yeah, it's a flying drone, like those drone from DJI, like you see on YouTube, and they just carrying heavy packages with your food that you order. Um, but I had some problems with the ordering, and I was too full, so I didn't end up ordering. But there's so many videos on YouTube, and I was there, and I went from mall to mall, just ate a lot of stuff, checked out different electric cars in China, but it wasn't really satisfying. So I visited Hong Kong for one day, like a day trip, and Hong Kong has some good vibes, and it really aged well. The last time um, I was there was probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and you had the same impression, I think.
Mm,
You also had many years in between those visits, and you also liked Hong Kong, right?
mm. Love it. Love the city.
And by your recommendation, I also went to the M Plus Museum. Is it
Mm,
called M Plus? Yeah, because I needed some culture. So there's some cultural experience, and I really enjoyed it for a few hours. I stayed there for a few hours, and then went to this yeah to the city. Just walked, then went to Victoria Peak with the tram.
mm.
Been there 2 times before, but still, this time was still special. Also still liked it, and you're just thinking about the last few weeks, what happened in Seoul, or what happened in Korea, what happened in Japan, and then you naturally compare all those places. Yeah, and Hong Kong was surprisingly good. Yeah,
I have the same impression about Hong Kong. Yeah, I just randomly visited there because I have to use my, how to say, the mileage, the
yeah,
airline
yeah. The
mileage.
airline miles.
So it's expiring. Yeah, it's expiring. So I booked just a random ticket and went to Hong Kong last December. And I talked to the taxi drivers there, and of course they could speak English very fluently because they were educated under British education system.
Mm.
And they were all worried about the economies there, but still I think the Hong Kong, as you said, is aged very well. And the museum M Plus was so good, much better than I expected. And comparing to the San Francisco Museum of what,
Modern
Modern
arts.
Arts. Yeah. And plus is I think it it is smaller. The exhibition they only have like four, but the San Francisco one has like seventh floor and they have lots of exhibitions ongoing. It's located at a seaside and
Mm.
it looks amazing. And also I was getting used to the night scenery of the Shanghai. And I think that is what I thought that that's the one of the best night view in the world,
Do you
but
mean the Shanghai skyline night
white.
view
Yeah,
is
yeah,
one of the
right.
best?
I think it's the best in the world. But
Yeah,
Hong Kong, the view of Hong Kong from the the Victoria Peak was also like amazing.
it's iconic, I
Mm,
think. Yeah.
yeah, it's iconic. I kind of overlooked them. It's like I ignored them actually.
What?
In my memory, the night view from the Victoria Peak was stunning,
Hmm.
and that memory was from like 10 years ago. So I always gaslighted, manipulated myself that my memory is kind of exaggerated.
Oh, okay.
But actually, this time I was so impressed.
Okay.
That that view was it was so yeah, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very iconic.
I also stood there on top of that Victoria Peak, and I was just watching like 10, 20 minutes. And I would have been, I think, watching for a longer time, but it was a bit windy and a bit cold. So, but I really enjoyed like looking down on the on that skyline on Hong
Mm.
Kong. Yeah. And in the beginning, I wasn't even planning to go to Victoria Peak because I've been there 2 times before. But I asked you, should I go? And you said, yeah, I should go. And I didn't regret it. And yeah, it was so cool up there.
So did you visit the Shanghai this time?
No, Shanghai, not this time. For me, Shanghai
Oh.
is too boring. Last time I went there was for 2 or 3 nights because my I was with my sister and she had a language course going on.
Mm.
So before her course started, we said, okay, let's spend some days in Shanghai together and explore the city without our parents because she'd never been by herself, Shanghai. So I said,
Wow.
yeah, let's just have some fun. And we didn't know what to do. So I suggested going to Disneyland. Disneyland. It was great. It was great. That time, do you know Zootopia?
Yeah, 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 I know.
It was an area newly opened and not much going on that day. It was also fun. Yeah, but besides Shanghai, it's um I mean besides Disneyland in Shanghai was there's some usual like standard things to do, visiting the bund, eating local food, Starbucks, Reserve Roastery,
That is boring.
Nanjinglu,
Starbucks is yeah.
Nanjinglu. But
Mm.
but China, personally, China is has developed so fast. Everything is so new. Everything is so modern. I feel like, yeah, you don't even have to speak Chinese. You just order, you go to the restaurant, you order with your phone. It's just very convenient. A very convenient country. And
Right.
everything is so new that sometimes I feel like it's very boring because obviously they have great shops, interesting shops, but you don't want to go shopping every time. And therefore, sometimes feels like the city lacks, or not the city, but the bigger cities, they lack like cultural
Mm.
attractions.
For me, Shanghai is like a nostalgia.
Yeah.
I spent 2.5 years there
Uh,
before the COVID. I was dreaming like a bright future there, but I couldn't because of the COVID. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
that was
I have
unfortunate.
I have lots of memory, good and bad memories.
But for you, China is like it's just feeling home for you, the whole country, or is it just Shanghai or Hangzhou?
Actually, only Hangzhou, I think.
Hangzhou, yeah.
Yeah, Hangzhou is my favorite city, I think, in the world. Yeah. I have like 7 cities that I love.
Yeah.
Hangzhou, like Sapporo. In Korea is Gwangju, is a city nearby. They all have lakes, and also London, Chicago, those cities.
Mm.
Hong Kong. And Hangzhou, when I saw the West Lake for the first time, I just immediately thought, oh, this is the place that I'm gonna die. It's not about the suicide, but I can like live until I die. I can like wrap up my life here in the end.
Mm.
Like, yeah, that was my first impression. It was so strong and shocking.
Do you remember? I think it was the last time we both were in Hangzhou. We both went to the West Lake. Do you
Mm.
remember that moment?
We've been we've been there many times, I think.
Yeah, but the last time especially, I think I was visiting um, my parents-in-law,
Mm.
and you came to Hangzhou for a few days. you stayed at that hostel.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
You stayed at
I
that
remember.
hostel, and it was evening, and then we just checked out Westlake because we haven't been there
Mm,
for a long time.
mm,
So we just went there, and I remember how you just loved it. Which is you were so impressed. I mean, we both have been to Westlake so many times, but you went there and you had that face where you were very impressed and as if you have seen it for the first time. And you took a photo and you said, "Oh, I was just in love with Hangzhou again."
yeah, I think I like the lake, and because lake has no waves,
Mhm.
it is like kind of a, let's say, it feels like peaceful.
Mm.
The lake is peaceful compared to the river and the sea. Yeah, they have a flow and waves. The river doesn't. So I like the river, and the biggest reason I love the river is I can walk just without worrying about my route. If you walk the riverside, you have to worry about coming back,
Mhm.
right? When you
Yeah,
come back, you see the same side, same
yeah,
views.
yeah.
But on the riverside, you can just walk and come back to the same
Ah,
point. And that
okay. You
makes me
just walk
feel
around.
comfortable.
Mm.
I can just walk around. And Hangzhou is a bit special because I can also feel the desire of Chinese people there. Like there is a beautiful river, and
Mm.
on the other side there is like Louis Vuitton, McLaren,
Yes, yes, yes.
Gucci store,
Yeah.
Apple store. It's like very well combined.
It's the
Uh,
contrast is so big. On one
yeah,
side you have that beautiful historical Westlake, and you can take the boat for a trip, and a few small shops, green everywhere. I think even a few restaurants. And then you turn around 180 degrees, you just see Apple Store, like designer stores and shopping malls and a bustling
five-star
shopping
hotels.
street. Yeah. That kind of that kind of scenery. Yeah.
That
Yeah, it
is
makes it special. Yeah. But would you
very
would
special.
you would you move there because you
Not
love
sure.
it? What hinders you to move to Hangzhou
Now, you mean
in general?
in general? Hangzhou is a great city, of course. I love the city, but I don't have any friends or family there now. Everyone left, and then I couldn't, I don't think I can find a proper job there. And hmm, I feel they're like my old hometown, like
Hmm.
Qingtian.
Okay.
You may like Qingtian, but
Yes.
you cannot live there
I
for
cannot
a
live
long
there.
time.
Yeah.
Like
How about Hong Kong
compared
then?
to Hong Kong, yeah, I think I can survive there because it's international city. Like
Hmm.
I can access to many other countries very frequently, very conveniently, and
Yeah,
has more freedom.
and they speak English very casually, so they have
Mm,
no problem with speaking English. I mean, Hong Kong maybe on the surface hasn't changed, but sometimes you hear interviews from friends that Hong Kong has changed inside, and people may have a different view now compared to a few years ago. But still, I think Hong Kong is a great place, and yeah, I could actually imagine living there. But I would probably miss the weather in Europe or in the German weather because it has the seasons. but Hong Kong is a tropical,
Mm,
is in a
yeah.
tropical area and it's never cold like here. Yeah. Even today it's snowing and I would miss that, I think. But then I could go to Japan if I, if I wanted.
Japan is, yeah, Japan is not bad. If I have like a Chinese wife, then I think I can move to China.
Mm,
And if I have Japanese wife, yeah, I can survive Japan.
mm,
But in general, as a foreigner, China and Japan are not, it's not a very friendly place to the foreigners. Yeah, as a tourist, yeah, short visit is good, but if you don't know their language, culture, it won't be easy to survive.
yeah, I agree. Usually when I'm being dreamy, when I dream a lot during the day, I feel like, oh, how nice would it be to live in Japan or Korea or China, Hong Kong, that kinds of places. And then I feel like I'm feeling bad because I would live there and don't speak the language. And the question is, how long would you live in that country and how long would you study the language? Or if you even have the time and capacity to learn a new language. It's a bit tough, yeah. Because as a tourist, you have no reason to learn the language fluently. You just maybe pick up some words, but you don't have to feel bad if you don't speak the language because you're a tourist. But if you live there naturally, I think it's it would be better if you learned the language and not rely on others speaking English, making them inconvenient.
So this time when I visited San Francisco,
Hmm.
I just felt it like my home because there's almost no language barrier, I think.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That's the advantage. You know, you just maybe adapt to different cultural habits, but language wise, I think everyone understands you and you can make have a conversation. Yeah, that's the easy part. So let's move to America then. Like we discussed
I
last time, it's probably a good choice for you.
I will. I'd like to. But you don't like America that much. You don't like United States that much.
Me, I have no desire to go there. I have some, let's say, bad impressions, but I don't want to be, um, I don't want to judge when I haven't experienced myself. But yeah, personally, I have no desire to visit or live in the United States, even though I loved it when we stayed in West Lafayette, when we had our exchange semester there. I felt like the campus was full of inspiration and aspiration and creativity, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. That kind of feeling or vibe. But yeah, yeah, as I said, it's no for now. There's no reason for me to go to the US, and it's so expensive.
That's true. Yeah.
Since the
So
dollar is
expensive.
so this dollar is too strong, so
Mm.
it's not as desirable for me.
I'm also interested in moving to Germany, of course, because Germany and Netherlands, I think they do speak English very well. So no problem in surviving there. But what I worry is like I don't know how to get along with others there.
Mm.
I have no idea. I've never been there. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's especially if you lived in Berlin, I think it's much more natural to speak English for people in general. Also, there are many expats, um, and you will definitely find a group of friends that are only speaking English. So think that is also the what's attractive about Berlin, and that's why people move there. Yeah, there are probably also many Koreans there, as any international. If you fit, maybe if you have desires to maybe work in tech or have a job that is English speaking and like the city, then Berlin is a very, very good place to be if you don't speak German. So that's why I also want to take you there to to see for yourself.
I see. I will visit someday, hopefully this year. Actually,
Then,
I want to listen to your more story about the cities in the Germany because you lived in many cities.
mm,
But I think we already recorded for 2 hours,
okay,
so
yeah,
I think we have to wrap it up here.
let's wrap it up
And
here, and
mm,
I think there's probably many more opportunities to talk about German cities that I've been to. Can only
mm,
speak of my personal experiences, impressions, but yeah, that's for another one.
yeah, that's it for today.
That's it for today. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you in the next one. And wish you a good week. And four more weeks to go, then you're free again.
Yeah, hopefully I can get admission before
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Okay, bye.
Bye.